optimizing dopamine. In this video I want to talk about manipulating dopamine. Okay, so what are the best ways? So honestly, I sometimes make chaotic videos, but these are based on my thoughts. Okay, so I had really long-term experience with different supplements and even herbs that affect in some way also dopamine or serotonin. Okay, so I use them to fix my issues. Okay, so I even tried things like kudzu. Okay, probably you never heard of that. It's used for alcoholics if they want to drink, for example, less. Okay, so it affects the reward system of dopamine. Okay, so kudzu is also one of these herbs, but we will talk about pathways and how to manipulate dopamine. Okay, so in normal way, because there are guys they are doing really crazy things, and at the end they have downregulated dopamine receptors, and that's not a good way. Okay, so balancing dopamine transmission, reuptake, and degradation requires a nuanced approach. Okay, because the dopamine system is involved in various functions, including reward, motivation, and regulation of mood. Okay, so we will talk about this. Okay, and imbalances in dopamine signaling can lead to disorder like addiction, depression, or Parkinson's disease. Okay, so this is educational video. Okay, so you need to work with experienced health practitioner in order to fix your issue. If you need my help, you will find a link in the description. Okay, so what we can do to optimize dopamine or to hack dopamine. Okay, so we can unblock dopamine receptors, especially D2. Okay, we can boost transmission, okay, of dopamine. We can hack reuptake. Okay, so, and also we can take a look at degradation. Okay, so regarding degradation, there is a toxic thing, dopal. So we also need to support degradation, that we don't have a lot of dopal in our system, because dopal is toxic. Okay, and we don't want that. Okay, so first of all, unblocking receptors. Okay, even things like increased prolactin for a long term or for long period, okay, can block our D2 receptors. Okay, so even things like too much of prolactin can have blocking effect on D2 receptors. Okay, so before you start somehow affecting your or boosting your D2 receptors, okay, take a look at your prolactin. Okay, so prolactin and dopamine inverse effect. Okay, so you don't need to start immediately with some drugs there boost dopamine. Okay, so take a look at prolactin. Okay, so the first thing. Okay, so blood tests are always necessary, like I telling you all the time. Okay, so PSSD guys, they have higher dopamine from serotogenic drugs. Okay, so even other guys that have, for example, unhealthy lifestyle or too much of estradiol can have high prolactin. Okay, so the first thing would be take a look at the prolactin. The second thing would be unblocking your D2 receptors. Okay, so always do this in moderation. It doesn't matter if it's transmission, if it's unblocking receptors, if it's degradation, if it's reuptake. Okay, so don't really blast your system with all these medication, like if you use a lot of amphetamine and such things. Okay, so you will mess up your dopamine at the end. Okay, so for a short period of time it will work, but then you completely messed up your system. Okay, so I always try to do so mild approach. Okay, so I did it also for myself. Okay, and it worked. Okay, so try to unblock receptors. You need to really take down the prolactin. Okay, there are many traditional Chinese medicine herbs that can, for example, affect other parts of dopamine pathways, okay, like that and so on. I already made a video on it, okay, so these herbs can help you decrease prolactin, but can also help you with that, okay, so that blockers, some well known are, for example, cocaine, okay, or we have also amphetamines, okay, so but that's not a good wave, okay, so probably from some of the medication you already know is bupropion, okay, so bupropion can be used, okay, to block that, but there are also better ways, okay, so first thing, excessive dopamine transmission, okay, too much dopamine transmission can lead to addiction, impulsivity, mania, okay, and you will really have a hard time to stop addictive patterns, okay, so therefore amphetamine or boosting this dopamine transition is not the best way, okay, so like I said, first of all, unblock the receptors, okay, so even if you have lower dopamine, your receptors are more sensitive to it, okay, so many guys have blocked these receptors, okay, so transmission pathway, this is not the best way how you can optimize your dopamine, okay, so really good thing is to inhibit DAT, okay, so here if you don't feel the effect of dopamine, probably this is the problem, okay, so that activity, okay, it removes the dopamine from the cells and put it in extracellular space, okay, so if you want to feel more from dopamine, if you want to boost dopamine signaling, the best way is to affect reuptake via DAT blockers, okay, so we are talking about mild inhibition of DAT, okay, so there are many herbs like I already told you, there are TCM, traditional Chinese medicine herbs, okay, that can this effect. There are things like catuaba, okay, so for one of my clients, catuaba can help improve this signaling, okay, so also what I did years ago was rhodiola rosea, okay, so always be careful, rhodiola is also MAO-B, I think, inhibitor, so it can also leave more serotonin in the system, okay, but for me, rhodiola rosea worked really great. You really need to have a great extract. I was using one specific, right now I don't remember, it was one specific medicinal extract, okay, so not just root or something, okay, so okay, so the question is, should you block DAT and enhance the receptor sensitivity? So blocking DAT increase dopamine in the synapse, enhancing its effect, okay, so it's effective in conditions like ADHD or depression, but prolonged use can lead to dependency or tolerance, okay, so it really need to be managed, okay, so I don't recommend to use that inhibition every single day, okay, so even for example, if you are using things like L-Dopa, okay, Mucuna, you should not use it every single day, okay, so and enhancing receptor sensitivity is safer in long term, okay, so as it ensures that even normal dopamine levels can have sufficient effect, okay, so it's really beneficial for conditions with dopamine receptor dysfunction, depression, schizophrenia, negative symptoms, okay, so ideal approach would be for most individual enhancing receptor sensitivity in safer and more substantial way, okay, to improve dopamine function, okay, and in case of dopamine deficiency, moderate increase in dopamine synthesis or mild DAT inhibition, okay? So that would be what I would suggest if you want to really hack your dopamine, okay? So for example, what we can use for natural way to boost dopamine transmission, L-tyrosine, like I already told you, mucuna, okay? So also rhodiola rosea, enhanced dopamine transmission, okay? And also it's a mild inhibitor of dopamine reuptake, okay? So that, again, we have rhodiola rosea, okay? Then we have catuaba, okay? So also we have several enzymes that are involved in degradation, okay, of dopamine, like MAO-B. We have COMT. We have also LADH. LADH is extremely crucial because it helps to convert this toxic dopal to dopac, okay? So and this prevents neurodegradation, okay? So we can use B vitamins, okay? Generally, we need B vitamins for dopamine, especially to support BH4, okay? BH4 can help with dopamine, plus it can help with nitric oxide. If you need my help, you will find the link in the description. Okay, so another thing is, if we feel we need some more kick, okay? One guy asked me for a video about 9-MeBC, okay? So 9-MeBC and bromantane, okay? So bromantane, I have seen guys, they could stop the kratom addiction, okay? So bromantane and 9-MeBC are really great, okay? So 9-MeBC is a neuroprotective nootropic that promotes dopamine synthesis, okay, while protecting dopamine neurons, okay? So also it enhances long-term dopamine transition by upregulating tyrosine, okay? Hydroxylase, okay? So the rate-limiting enzyme in dopamine synthesis, okay? It's neurorestorative, anti-inflammatory, okay? So it's really good one, okay? So what do you really need to know, okay? So you need to cycle it properly, okay? You need to have other things that supports its function, okay? So, and the dosage is also extremely important, okay? So another thing is bromantane. It's a synthetic adaptogen, okay? Increase dopamine transition by enhancing dopamine release and blocking MAO-B, okay? So it reduces dopamine breakdown, okay? So what you can do, okay? So summary and recommendation: you can boost dopamine transmission, but in normal way, okay? So you don't want to really use amphetamine, such a things, okay? If you want to have this better signaling, you will inhibit that, okay? So there are many herbs from traditional Chinese medicine, or you can use rhodiola rosea, catuaba bark, okay? We don't want to have a dopal in our system because it's neurotoxic. We need to support LADH, alcohol dehydrogenase. It breaks down also alcohol, okay? So then we can use also adaptogen like bromantane, or we can use things like 9-MeBC. And to activate D2 receptors, we need things like magnesium or vitamin D, uridyl monophosphate, okay? So that's it, guys, okay? So let me know what you think, and I will probably make other videos that are focusing on neurotransmitters.